Today, long overdue, I'm talking to Bridgett Posey, the one and only, my partner with Jere Metcalf Partners at Atlanta Fine Homes, Sotheby's International Realty. I cannot even express how proud I am to call this woman girl power, by the way, serious girl power, my partner, and the top producing agent for our team. Bridget has more than doubled her business with 20 million closed last year and is on track to do it again and more. She is the kind of agent who truly does whatever it takes without question. She is up every day at 4. She executes whatever it is that she sets on her schedule plus some. If she says it will be done, it was done. Her habits and mindset are a great example of how we should all be, and her sales reflect it. We talk about how she did it, how she does it, and the habits and mindset to double your business. Thanks for listening to the Jere Metcalf Podcast, where top real estate agents tell how they do it. This podcast was created for real estate agents across the country to come together, sharing ideas to take your, their, and our business to the next level. All right, everybody, it's the Jere Metcalf Podcast, where top real estate agents tell how they do it. And today we have the long overdue interview with my partner and badass, I guess we can go ahead and start cussing, real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia, Bridgett Posey. Bridget, it's so awesome to finally get you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I know it is. I'm excited. It's been a long time. We keep trying to do this, and then I think because of the partnership, we know we can cancel on one another. We know we can cancel. So we're finally doing it.
But yeah, we were like, it's way overdue because Bridget keeps blowing it out with her business. And I'm like, Bridget, you got to get on and share with everybody what you're doing because everybody's asking me and it's better coming straight from the source. That being said, tell us a little bit about how you got in the business and why in the first place.
So that's a great question. Oh goodness, I tried to avoid it for years, to be honest with you. I finally, probably around 30, realized it was my calling. My family's been in the business, real estate attorneys in the business, and one way or the other, lots of family members in all facets of real estate. So I actually started on the title side, which works really well for anyone who is starting in residential real estate because the title side ends up being the hardest part of the real estate exam.
Kind of need that with the closing too.
And it helps with the closing. It helps to be able to talk when there are actual issues with the land. But I finally got in. I finally just jumped into residential after trying the title, trying commercial, trying everything. And just, it never clicked. It never made me happy. And then finally when I started residential, it was obviously what I was supposed to be doing. But yeah, it's been great. I never looked back, I guess.
So everybody, Bridget is an awesome agent. I'm going to try not to tell you too much about her because usually I'm doing more interviewing, but I know too much about her. But Bridget, what is it? The girl just gets it done, first of all, but you tell us, what is it that you think? We always like to start out with it's such a competitive industry. What gives you your cutting edge? What kind of makes people come to you as opposed to the 50 other agents they know?
So I happen to live in a neighborhood with probably at least a dozen of the top realtors in the city. And I say that like top, like winners at everything every year. So to even be able to live and work the neighborhood it can be difficult and challenging. It was challenging to kind of get a foot in the water. Or toe. I have to attribute it to just continuing to work my people. I didn't farm. I didn't I did some door knocking in my early days, but
Right.
that was coming out of the recession though, so it was fine. Nobody was
Whatever. Yeah.
coming. But I just stuck with my kind of top people, the people who are in my circle, like, in my world, and was just sincere in wanting to find them a good home, and that's
Yeah.
kind of paid off because, and now I'm purely referral based. I don't have to pay for leads at all. And it's nice because then the leads just come in in times when they come in and it's, you know, not
So,
during COVID so much, but right. But as they're
yeah,
coming in now, they're coming in through all my referrals.
exactly. So, what do you say? Like, what would you say? What are your activities? Because you've been an agent for a long time and you've been a really good agent, and lately you've really become a really great agent. What is the difference in what you've done with your time? Some of that buildup of time. And what is the difference in what you were doing in your activities in the beginning and your activities now, and even mindset? Or what is the difference?
So a lot of it is mindset, I think. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. And it's easy to feel um, like 6 months from now is not going to be as good as is now, or next year could be totally different. And I even fall into that trap today. It's very easy to do that to yourself in real estate. Fortunately, I have a great sounding board of a husband who constantly reminds me to just stay the course. And it's remembering no matter what the situation, and I'm going to have to speak to the pandemic because we're sitting here in June of 2020 and we're still all in our homes on Zoom. So, I, even during all of this where we were all shut down and we're supposed to be staying at home, I sent out 3 different Popeyes. So on St. Patrick's Day, even though Atlanta shut down March 12th ish, on March 17th, I was out delivering little goodie bags for St. Patrick's Day. And then all of April, I did honey. And so every year, all of my people get a little jar of honey, and it just says like happy spring, because our pollen is so bad. So, and they love it and they
Yes, it
expect
is in Georgia. Yeah.
it. Yes, I
So
know.
how many
And,
so Popeyes for everybody, that's Brian
yeah,
Buffini for everybody who doesn't know. I think most
it is a
people do
fun
know,
thing.
but some people don't. But that's where you just like, oh, I was in the neighborhood and had a jar of honey and here you go, and you put a nice personal note on it. How many people you say I do my people? How do you do the Popeye? How does that work? Like how many people, how
So
often, how do you decide?
I know that can be challenging, because it's challenging to drive all over the city.
Well, we have a solution for that now, Bridget. You just have to utilize it, but that's for another conversation. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, we're getting into business now.
I
But
know
so yeah,
it
it's
ends
back
up
to the
being
people.
over 100.
Right.
So I do over 100 of whatever item. It ends up going to over 100 people. So my top 100 probably see me once a month, or if they don't see me, they're getting a text and a picture, and they know I'm thinking of them. Some
And
of
that
those
happens how often?
once a month.
Once a month. Okay. Just making sure I heard, just making sure we got that. Okay, go ahead.
About once a month. Yep. So, like I said, March was St. Patrick's Day. I do holidays, and then they know it and they expect it and they love it, and they love it because a lot of the gifts end up being for the children. So then they love it, and I guess we're not supposed to say children.
No, we could
Sorry.
say that on the
Uh,
podcast. We're not selling a house, so you're
okay.
fine. I love it. We're
uh,
especially in tune to, all the stuff we can't, but we're just talking. We're not selling houses, so whatever. But yeah,
um, so that's what I do. So then, honey, and then I did. So I actually this year, one of our teammates had us reading uh, the giftology,
yeah.
and it talks all about how like monogramming, like making gifts a little bit more special. And he spoke specifically to monogramming, not your brand, but, and Jere knows this, but I'm talking to whoever's listening. Um, not branding it with your information, because who cares about your brand, but branding it with them. So
Make it
monogram.
about them.
Mm-hmm. So I delivered masks. So all for Mother's Day and Father's Day, all of my current clients or top refers got masks, received masks.
Monogram. Yeah. So I love how I think that the point here is a few things that you've covered is in doing business, you've got to have a plan and you've got to actually execute it. Number one. And when you execute it, you need to know who you're executing to. Like you've got your specific people and why and how often, and make it executable, which you've got there's not many people that do 100 deliveries of pop buys a month to a client base.
Uh,
And you've streamlined and
I don't like
systemized and you
calling.
execute. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. So tell us a little bit about in your business, and you hone in. You don't, I think a lot of people talk about doing deals with everybody they can do deals with. And clearly 100 people is a lot of people, but in the scheme of Atlanta, it's not a lot of people. How do you choose those people? And then I'm going to go a little bit more into some more questions about you and business and success. But first, how do you decide who those 100 people are?
So I hope nobody's listening to this who falls outside of this realm, but basically the top 100 are within a mile. They have to be within a mile and a half, 2 mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
And they are people who I would see otherwise, meaning I specifically create the list to reflect to not only where then I'm going to see them on their doorstep when I'm giving them a pop by, but I also might see them at a bar, or I might see them at a neighborhood function. Are we allowed to talk about?
And they're people that have referred you business, or are they, because obviously you could see a lot of people.
You're right. So, but yes, but people who are like in my weekly activities.
Yeah.
So church small groups, charities that I'm involved in, children's school parents, people that
Got
I'm
it.
running into
Yeah.
anyway, kind of just layering that, just
So
layering.
people who are in your market, people who are in your sphere, people who would probably refer you business, the people who kind of everybody every once in a while on the show hears about the workshop that I've done, and we talk about your ideal client. Everybody that kind of checks the bill of what
Yeah,
your ideal client would be, and that's
that's their
that's the way
workshop.
you get that list narrowed. Some of this I know, but does that? But correct me, because that's what you do. So correct me where I'm missing on that, or does that kind
No,
of
I
cover
think
it?
that's exactly it. Yes. So it's just keeping it narrow, but then also, it's just extra touches. So
Yeah,
I do way more than the probably average realtor on touches, if you will. Because
but it's
okay,
paying off,
who was it
right?
that said I don't do pop but I do pop intos? So I'm doing
Bump
Popeyes and
intos. It was
pop
bump
intos.
intos.
Yes, bump intos.
That was Carol Dane.
Yes. So
I don't do
yes,
Popeyes. I have bump intos. Right.
right. So just finding that good niche, and then you're just always top of mind, and so then the rest just works itself out.
Yeah. And you've been an agent, you've got experience, you've got the marketing and the data and all that good stuff. So tell us about in this business, you've how long have you been like really honed in real estate agent, not just
Full
licensed?
time.
Yeah.
So full time, 7 years.
So
Residential. Before that, I was commercial.
so in your 7 years in residential real estate, what has been your biggest aha about this business and your success? And that's okay if there's
Uh,
two or three answers.
oh, actually, well, no, I was trying to figure out what would be my biggest aha. So there was a time, and I can actually tell you exactly the moment. And it's funny, I talked to her earlier today because I gave her a Popeye. I I went to a friend's house who, yes, I had a little Popeye in my hand, and I can remember exactly what it was and everything. And she was on the phone with her mother, and she was crying, and she collected herself, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just was in. So I just sat with her and talked for a second, and I'm there. I'm coming from giving. I am a very charitable person by nature. So I just want to sit with her and kind of be there for her for a minute. Well, she went into this whole story about how she was trying to help somebody who couldn't help themselves, which that's what we're all here for. So I didn't really do much, but I did enough to make an impact. I made a phone call or two, and it was immensely impactful to her that I had just tried to help in her situation where she was trying to help. And from that, for somebody who I had not had any conversations with about moving or anything, like she was just a friend who lived in the neighborhood. She ended up selling her house and used me as the listing agent. And then that spiraled into another one. It kind of worked where
Yeah.
it all came back to this one moment where I just took 10 minutes to be with somebody who
And I
needed
think because you've told this story before,
you've
and
asked for my big aha, and that is, I
yeah,
can pinpoint
but
that.
I think something relevant too to point out is like in that moment you said, in the past, if that had happened, you would have handled it a little bit differently. Take us through kind of like, because you're a very driven, agenda focused person.
Right.
So in this business, it's do Popeyes, okay, go buy do Popeyes. Oh my God, somebody's crying. Here's your thing. I gotta go. And then all of a sudden
Right.
it was like, wait a minute, like this business is more than just like doing Popeyes and like dropping gifts off and just so I can
Right.
just get a lead. It's actually, there's value to what we do, and we're all people on this planet, and we're here to help. And how can we help? Is that kind of,
It was a complete mind.
yeah,
It was a complete mind shift. I mean, really, it was okay. It doesn't have to be your typical, and I'm speaking to myself, type A personality all the time. You can take a minute and just be sincere in being there for somebody, and then that just organically leads to sincerity in wanting what's best for them.
it's a
Right?
question.
That's
Yeah, no, I love that's beautiful. What do you think? Because I think the point too is like we all don't realize that the things we do aren't just because we decided to do them. They're in our wiring of how we, like we said, mindset earlier, how we do things, how we see things, how we make decisions. And then when we execute or don't execute, there's an outcome, unintended or not, like this story we're giving. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to be this way. There's something that happens in it's like a paradigm shift. What do you think? What was the moment? How did that change? What do you think? Like, what was that paradigm shift? Just to help us kind of understand.
you want the honest answer.
Yeah. We can always edit. Just kidding. We won't edit everybody. Do not edit. Anyway, but go ahead.
No, I mean you say that, but you're so funny because all right, let me just explain that Jere was like, we won't get too deep. It's fine. Like it's all just like service questions. But in all reality, my husband will attest to this. Like there was a complete paradigm shift, probably like 2.5 years ago, where to be honest, it happened. My aunt passed away, and it was a complete, absolute like you get control. I became much more prayerful and reflective, and I looked for ways to wake up and not jump on my email. And I want to jump out of bed and work, but at the same time, make myself take a minute to just be in the moment and sit. And whether that's a prayer or whatever it is for anyone else, but those 15 to 20 minutes go by really fast, but it's been immensely helpful. It helps me just kind of take control of my day. And at least like this morning when I'm, texting my list of to-dos today,
That I got
at
this
least I'm
morning.
doing
Right.
that. I'm not
Right.
letting it overwhelm me and get upset about it. I'm just texting a list of to-dos. So that was a that was a true legit paradigm shift.
That's
You want to be
awesome. No, that's like give us the I did say give us the truth. And I didn't tell her we weren't going to get deep, everybody. She just let herself believe that. That's how I must have let her so she'd finally come on the show. But
Probably.
that's awesome. So going into that, and then let's talk. I mean, everybody's gonna be like, "Hey guys, why don't you talk about your team and how you work well together?" But before
We
we
probably
do
should.
that, let's talk a little bit about. We don't talk enough about this on the show. Is habits. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just a result of your habits.
Mhm.
And I can say, Bridget, if anybody's got some amazing habits from mindset to actions, it is you. So give us a little bit about the habits that you have instilled, how you maintain them, when you need to adjust, how do you adjust? And how do you know?
Um,
Number
okay,
one, what are
so
your habits? That was like 3 or 4 questions. We'll start with habits. What are your habits?
okay, so every day, 15 to 20 minutes of reflection time. Uh, Working out. if I don't work out, it goes sideways really quick, very quick. And then it's managing the family for a second, and then getting ready, even during the, good stuff. I may not have worn full face of makeup, but I got ready. Got ready every day. And then it's just, like I said, I don't really like phone calls. I will make phone calls for transactions. Of course I have to, but I'd rather just get out and go see my clients. So sometimes that's just scheduling lunches and so forth, but really a lot of it is, for me, especially during all this, was just dropping off a little goodie just to let them know I'm thinking of them, or writing a note. So I do a lot of note writing. So just putting that into the day. And even when I have 6 deals going, like right now, where that to me is quite a bit. It's not, because we have the team, and we can talk about that in a second. It's less.
Right. Everybody's gonna be like, no, talk about it now. Anyway, so go ahead.
Right. But then it's my tasks for my transactions, because that's what gets us paid.
Mm-hmm.
But then not letting that get in the way of you still have to get out every month. So, however many I need to do this week, and so typically at least 20 a week has to be.
Yeah. And you do it. You've got a lot of it is planning your weeks
Mm-hmm.
and executing your plan.
Yes.
And
then knowing my schedule so that I can work in what I need to.
Yeah.
So time blocking right?
Right. Well, we talk about that a lot. Time block and stick to it and all that good stuff. So what are your days that you get up, meditation, and we're going to talk about the team. But you get up, you do your meditation, you do your workout. Your kids are finally awake because you get up at like 4. What time do you get up? 4 or 5? 4:30? Do you now get up at like 5:30?
No. Yeah. Well, actually a little bit. Yeah. It's like 5:15.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's so late for Bridget. She doesn't want to admit that because it's usually 4 or 4:30. So I get up this morning I did get up at 5, and I was proud because I usually get up at like 5:30 or 6. So anyway, pre-COVID I was 5, but you were still 4:30. I love it. So back to your day. 5 a.m. So anyway, you get up, meditate, work out, see the family, and then you start work. Mm-hmm. What comes first when you work? Is it calling clients, making sure you get in the car? Like, what do you do?
So first of all, it's cleaning out the junk in my inbox, because it drives me crazy. All right, that's literally step 1. After that, it is typically it's checking on what transactions are going. That's my step 1. And then always if I have showings and or I'm going to get out and go see clients, that's typically not before 10 a.m. But between like 9 to 10-ish time, 9 to 11, I try to mostly handle, what is needed for the transaction. Because if it gets too late in the day, people start getting antsy around 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to knock that out in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't always happen. But speaking of habits, another thing I've implemented is making due diligences end at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. Because I get up too early to hash it out with somebody at
midnight.
10 p.m. Like I just can't do it.
Not when you're getting up at 4 in the morning. No.
So that's a habit I am happy that I try to enforce. But that's really my day. I mean, there are times when I get really busy that I am working after dinner, but there are also times when I just turn it off and am able to just be, so that I like being married.
I like being married. You talked a lot about being present, by the way. Everybody, it's being present in the morning, at the beginning of your day, and making sure you're present at the end of your day, and taking that time to reflect and have gratitude is what I'm hearing. Is that?
Yes.
You've talked in the past about, there are a lot of things that we can do in this business to be successful, but until you do it, you don't. It's kind of like, yeah, sure. but then you just kind of don't do it. And then one day you just start doing it and you're like, oh, wow, that works. Talk to us a little bit about that because there have been times when we've had things happen with the team and you've really shared some great insight. Like, hey guys, like, I know things seem hard. It just seems like this business is impossible. But the reality is, you know what to do. You just really have to do it. Can you give us a story from, I mean, I kind of stole that from you, but I want you to elaborate because you speak to that really well.
Just to come from giving is, I feel like you
No,
have
not
some.
giving, just execute. Just like
Okay.
execution. See,
Uh,
everybody, she's so good at executing, she forgets other people like don't. I mean, you really, if you say you're going to do something, it's done. Like
yeah.
it's
Well,
done like
okay.
last week
Well,
most of the time. Right?
so
Seriously.
um,
Yeah.
I'll tell on you for a second because so Jerry just sent a text
Oh
today.
God. I don't know what's
What's
it's
that? You don't
coming.
hear that?
Anyway, no, go ahead.
That's my phone. I should have turned it off. I'm sorry. Jerry sent a text this morning saying, "Hey, did these get done?" And I had already, they'd already been ordered. They'd come in. They'd already been on the Popeyes, and I'd sent her a picture that with them on the Popeyes.
Right,
So
but that's
somebody
Bridget.
wasn't
That's you.
sure.
I mean, that's just you.
they were they were
Every
done.
time. I'm like,
Um,
hey, everybody, did you do this? I'm like, I'm not going to ask Bridget. She did it last week. Everybody else? Exactly.
I think it makes people nervous. They don't like. I don't know. I. I've had a lot. I was trying to turn on my phone. I have had a lot of success with it, and it works for me. You know, just go into the doors. If people are uncomfortable with it, truly, then now's a great time to get out and try it because you don't have to knock on the door. You kind of have a good excuse. You can
Yeah.
just put it at the door.
Yeah.
Because, but I know you're not supposed to do that. But with everybody being all cautious and whatnot, you kind of have a
Yeah.
good excuse to just to leave it there for them.
Yeah.
But it's, um, I mean, I'll be honest. Jerry asked me where I got the sparklers. I got them at the Dollar Tree. Like, we're not talking about expensive. You know, I'm not spending a lot of money. The ribbon is all the Dollar Tree. It's tape, ribbon, and
And they're
sparklers.
so
And the
cute. We should have had you
cards.
like bring one to show. They're so for
Well,
July 4th. Or do you have one at your desk?
no, but I have the little tag sitting here. But the little tag is just like a business card size, and
So
it
cute.
sits on there. And it's easy. It didn't take long to put together, and it just then you carry them in your car. Don't get things that melt, but you carry them in your car and you go. And then when you see people, they love it. It's like gold to them. I don't know why. They're dollar sparklers, but but it
Yeah.
works. And so then if you're afraid, just go out and just put them on the door. But you'll be surprised the thank yous you get, and wow, the kids love them, and they just know you're thinking of them. Sorry, I will show. It's not just happy father. It's not. It's video, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I
Well,
have
everybody, that it is audio and video. We
an
could
audio
actually
and video. I
tons
have
of audio, but everybody, you're gonna just have to get on Facebook or Jerry Metcalf Partners or Jerry Metcalf
it has all the
Podcast.com.
information on the tab.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's there. So if somebody, you know, it's there. It's business. Um,
Yeah, it's a beautiful logo
love
on
it.
the back with your information. On the front is Happy July, Happy, what is it? Happy Independence Day?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the back. It has all the
She's
information,
showing it
and
to
then
us,
it's just
everybody that's listening.
happy for the
Yeah. Happy 4th of July. It's beautiful. Um, so now let's talk about being on a team.
okay.
So
Okay.
we've had a few interviews on the show where we talk to team members and we talk about team structure and different things like that. Tell us a little bit about what difference it makes in your business. What has it made? What has it done? What are the benefits of a team? Whatever you want to share about the pros and cons of a team for you.
So one of the bigger things, and I know it probably doesn't seem like it in our conversations, but it is helpful to have the camaraderie, like even just the jokes every once in a while, the bouncing off of ideas, it's just nice to have that. When you're an individual agent, I feel like it gets kind of boring. And if you're an individual agent with one assistant, you can pull ideas from various Facebook groups or what have you, but it's really nice to just have just someone to say, hey, is this how you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much that goes into the marketing, and a lot of it still comes from, it has to come from you because you're the one who knows the client, you're the one who knows the home. So it's just nice to be able to like have that team camaraderie.
Right.
Behind the scenes, obviously, is the bread and butter of like being on a team, because then they're doing all the behind the scenes that allow us to be able to get out and do what we need to do to bring in the business. So that when that works seamlessly, and when that works well, that's what makes for the best team. I don't know if you want to speak to anything specific, but we do
Yeah.
have a lot of systems in place, and we have a lot of behind the scenes people who are doing phenomenal jobs right now. Actually, it's been nice. It's been great. It's been really
Yeah.
nice to be able to like come out
So,
of this and get busy and have the support.
so tell us, even though I already know the answer, but tell us what does the team structure look like? How's the team structured?
Okay, so Jere and I are partners, and then you have our other JMP agents, which actually, because there's really four of us, so we actually all kind of work. We all do the exact same, and we all help each other out when we can. Um, we're all agents at the end of the day, right? And we're realtors, and we have our own clients and so forth. But everything funnels through the team's systems, and
Mm-hmm.
which really, actually, the bulk of it is our closing manager and the listing manager.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, one person on the team handles all the listing information, and one handles all the whatever's under contract. Um, and and then we have the social media. Um,
Right.
I don't want to name names, but
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
handles the social media. It's been really fun. I like it. It's kind of fun to then everybody's talking about it, because then everybody's talking about it. They're like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
have this listing in Wilton." I'm like, "Well, it's not really mine, but
Well, it's
okay."
really, yeah, but that's okay
But
because
I can talk to it. I know,
yeah.
and so yeah, I mean, and when everybody checks the checklist, it
Right.
works really well. I'm
So I'm
probably
gonna,
missing somebody. I'm the
yeah. So well,
players.
I'll elaborate just because I can't help it because I already know. I would ask you, but I'm just gonna say, and then you can correct me. But basically, the way it works, and then you tell us your experiences. We've got this team that we put together. So Bridget and I, like, kind of randomly, were like, let's work together, and now we do. And then from there, Bridget is like, we both are delivering and bringing in clients and doing business. And how it started was I had this team and you were coming with me to join the team and you were really like the mega producer on the team with me. So that's where we're partners. But as far as the structure of the team goes, is we've got agents on the team, you, me, Adam, and Chad, agents on the team. Then we've got admin side. So we've got the sales side. And then the idea of the team is we've got a platform by which you, I, Chad, or you, me, is that the correct grammar? Chad and Adam, or is I actually, can go out and produce because we've got people behind the scenes supporting us. From if I get a listing, I don't have to worry about getting MLS, getting the sign up, getting the photo shoot. Now, obviously, there's reality, but having people behind the scenes to support us and getting that done, getting the brochures, getting the emails, getting everything done, and then when we have the closings, it's the same thing. We have people exclusive to us on the team doing that. And on the marketing end, right now we have Rokon who does our podcast content, our social media content, and he's going to listen to this interview and find out we're also positioning him to do all of our marketing content. Congratulations, Rokon. Anyway, but it's listing management, closing management, and then just marketing for the team in general. And that supports us so that we don't have to worry and make those decisions. I'm running and managing that at the moment. We have someone also coming into place to help run and manage that. So us agents on the team, we can go sell, because I have found in my breakthroughs in selling, sometimes your biggest limit is you subconsciously sabotage winning business because you're not sure you can handle it. But once you know you've got the backup, because it takes a lot to handle and deliver, and you don't, I mean, one of my biggest things is I don't want to be incompetent, and I know that's yours. So when you've got the backup to deliver on it, it gets really easy to win it and grow. And I say all of that because you've been on other teams where you got buyers agents and these kinds of agents and those kinds of agents. This is a team where it's like, no, we got a platform. So if you're an agent, you're going to be an agent and go kick some ass as an agent and deliver on that. So tell me where your experiences in that and where you kind of like, you elaborate on that for us as well.
So and obviously, teams are set all sorts of different ways. I do like listing and taking buyers out. I actually do enjoy working with both. And I think it's important to know what the buyer, you can't really know what they want unless you get in the house with them. So it's important. I like actually being able to still service.
It's important to be with them. And it's important to be able to represent buyers, to list and represent sellers. If you don't understand, right.
And because it's interesting when it can create interesting scenarios when, a buyer's agent is out and then they don't know what the listing agent is, how that listing agent is doing on the sale, but then they're trying to represent them on the purchase, and it's just kind of convoluted. And I understand that that's how some teams operate, and they are phenomenal teams. So I guess they have it.
Oh, no, they're not, Bridget. No, they're not. We're the best.
But so I actually enjoy it. I like being with the buyers. So and the sellers. I like both sides. So that actually, this setup works really, I like this. It works really well for my personality. And so just to elaborate, I think the marketing, I'm really glad to hear that. I hope Rogan hears all this. That it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of a marketing person who, once he gets his groove going with all the different, some of the hardest things can be just to write the description. I don't know why that's so challenging. I feel like one of my passions in life was supposed to be a writer, but for some reason to write a description on a house, I feel like, you want to get it perfect. Sometimes you just gotta go with it. But,
I've actually gotten this weird bug lately where I think I've rewritten a few of yours. I've used to be the one that
probably have. Did you rewrite mine today? Because I said tweak it, but I may not.
I've rewritten a few of yours lately, and you actually, it's kind of funny. So I think too, only because we work together, so it helps everybody listen. For our team, everybody's like, how do you work with people and how do you make it work? And I just can't figure out how to make a team work. For us, for me, it's, I kind of do the infrastructure of the team.
Right.
And then I have you who you and I we're in sync. We have the same values. We're different, but we mesh very well together. But also there are times like this morning, you're like, WTF, I'm overwhelmed. I need some freaking help. And my response to that
is, I didn't say WTF.
Well, you didn't actually, everybody. I'm exaggerating.
I said it very nicely.
She actually was really nice. I'm exaggerating to make a point. So, but the point is you as a team leader or the team, whatever, the Jere Metcalf, being the one who does the infrastructure. Right. I get that. And I'm like, oh, well, she forgot that this is who's already going to do this. And, oh, you need to get these things done in the field. I need to go ahead and finish solidifying our field person that we just hired officially today to get certain deliveries done. But it's feedback for me to say, okay, this isn't my imagination, because I like to just get things done now, but we've got to get a real solution, and getting that feedback back and forth. And when we have problems, not seeing problems as problems, but seeing problems as opportunities to just keep making things better.
Right. So I think we're good. We're on a good roll.
And everybody's on the same bat. The agenda of the team is to create a platform where agents, not 1,000 agents, our team has a platform that every agent that we're working together with can have camaraderie and be as successful as they want to be without limitations. And right now we are building that together. And you're freaking kicking it. So
good, because I was worried.
Oh, you are. What are you worried about? This year you've already sold as much as you sold in
a year. That's what I had to remind myself. I think that's what was helpful, that I finally had to just take a breath and just realize that yes, COVID was crazy and it hit us, and I thought it was going to be a thing, and it's not, and it wasn't. But no, then I looked at my numbers and I was like, okay, I'm ahead of last year, big time. So
exactly. So going on, we're going to do our final 3 because we've got about 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
But anything else? Because I know I've done a lot of talking on the team, so everybody can hear us back and forth about it too. But anything else you want to add about, this is what is great about a team structure. This is why our team works. This is advice about what to do and not to do with a team, because everybody's always asking me for that.
So you do not micromanage. And at this moment, yes, like you are, is JMP, is Jere Metcalf Partners. You do not micromanage me. Now,
Right.
if you, I don't know, I can't speak for Chad and Adam,
I don't
but
micromanage them either. Yeah.
that's what, again, for the salespeople, like you kind of do have to find your own, like everybody's going to do it a little bit differently. And you didn't say like, no, Bridget, you can't do Popeyes. You have to do phone calls. I would have not lasted a month.
Well,
So,
right.
but like, that's me. It's just, I know it works
Yeah.
for me. And so that's what actually is a beautiful quality about the team is the
Yeah.
lead doesn't micromanage.
Well, I
Thank
think the point is give you a place where you can find your best strengths and best utilize them. Yeah. But thank you for saying that.
you.
It, okay, so final three, unless you want to add anything else. Um, in other words, making sure I didn't interrupt you when I added on.
No, that was
Okay,
it.
number one, what book do we have to read that's life changing and your business wouldn't be the same without it?
Do you want me to say what
I want to say I want your honest answer. You know what mine is?
I know. Okay. All right. I was gonna say, so
Honest answer.
all right. So, honest answer,
Yeah.
how to win friends and influence people. Honest to God answer. That is anyone in sales, if they live that book, it was like ancient and whatever, if to me, that teaches you like the true values of just being a good person. But I know your
Yeah.
answer, which is, never split the
Oh,
difference.
you know my book, but they actually have a lot in common.
Now that is a good one for sales. Like don't read any other book for negotiating, but for just being a good person and just, and then, catering to your clients.
Yeah.
What's the Ritz, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There needs to be some class there. And I just feel like that book is a good one that hones in.
I'm going to read that. Obviously, Bridget doesn't listen to all of the shows in entirety, but she gets quotes and clips of them constantly. Don't worry. But you would or wouldn't be surprised. We get a lot of how to win friends and influence people. That's a big
Oh,
one.
do you?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one. You need to read
I
that.
mean, we shouldn't be
I'll
surprised.
buy
It's
it for
a
you.
great
How have
book.
you not read that? It's a good
What's
book.
that?
How have you not read that?
Oh, I have, but I've read it like
Okay.
I need to. I mean, it's probably been over 10 years. I've read it like it has been over 10 years. It's been too long. I need to read it again. It's a
For
great book.
someone who read Never Split the Difference 6 times, you
So
can take
I think it was seven, just saying. It was a lot. It was a good book.
it is a good book.
And I do read clips even now of the How to Win Friends and Influence People, and there are a lot of similarities. The message is delivered differently, or the but the message that's received is very
core. You're right. It is. At the core of it, it's very similar.
okay. Next question.
Um, oh,
What is what is the best resource for your business being as successful as it is now? Is it a tool? Is it
best resource, like currently, like present today.
yeah.
Um, so I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you better
Love,
not.
I never lie.
All
Can't lie. For
right,
the
go
record,
ahead.
I love this text message. All the Brookhaven. There's all the top Brookhaven agents. I don't know how I ended up on the list, to be honest with you, because the list has been going for like 2 years. But somehow, some way, when it was created, I guess I won't name names, but a dear friend created this list and put me on it, and it is continued for 2
That's
years.
awesome.
So whenever the
Yeah.
Brookhaven agents have something coming or they know there's a quiet listing, we're always communicating with each other about it. That has been a huge resource for my neighborhood. That's
Collaborating.
I know.
Yeah.
It feels good to be on it.
A great message in that. Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it just makes me feel special. But
Yeah.
create one.
But
Whatever your neighborhood is, whoever your top agents are in your network,
yeah.
just communicate with them.
But figuring out really efficient ways to collaborate with the agents there's so many people like I always say this, but this business is not cutthroat if you don't let it be.
Right.
Because there's so much business to be had. So let's collaborate on what we've all of our networks and make deals happen.
Yeah, you don't want to be cutthroat. Well, I don't want to be cutthroat. I got some major competition. I don't
I
like.
know that's for like now we got to do a whole nother interview, except we literally have like 4 minutes. Um,
Okay, good. So
last
number
question,
two.
or you could say something on that. Do you have anything that you do want to share on that before we do the last question?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I like to come from, I just like to come from what goes around comes around, I guess, the golden
Yeah.
rule. Like, it's not worth it for me to get sideways with an agent who lives in my backyard over a deal. Like, it's just, to me, I'd
And
rather
like you
just
said, our
let
neighborhood
someone
is,
be better.
we have more top agents specializing in our neighborhoods than any neighborhood in the city. And we do have the fastest appreciation rate of any neighborhood in the city as well. It's kind of insane in the city of Atlanta and in the city of Brookhaven, where we are in Brookhaven. It's kind of a hot spot. Um, Last question. If there's one thing that you would say you've got to just take this away from our conversation, if you're going to have to forget everything else, what is it?
Just come from giving, I think would be my biggest,
Yeah.
just, right? So come from, like, just be
Yeah.
sincere, be honest, have integrity, and just have a big heart, and you don't have to worry about anything else.
Awesome. Thank you.